welcome to another episode of the Cricket Hotspot podcast. This is your host Sarthak, again with my partner in crime.
My name is Parth.
And we're here with some latest news happening from the world of cricket. And hope you enjoyed this episode as much as you did the last one.
Yeah, by the way, how was your first week of infamy?
It was pretty good, actually. I've been getting some good reviews for both of us, and I hope to continue doing good work.
Yeah.
And I hope people appreciate it as much as they have.
Yes.
So again, the first thing that we have for you guys this week is the recently concluded West Indies Test Series. Mahendra Singh Dhoni's decision to call off the match with, I think, 86 runs needed in 15 overs. What do you think about that call? A good call? Bad call?
In my opinion, it was a good call. It was a depleted batting attack from India. I don't think, since Raina had just gotten out, and then he's the main blazer in our team, you really need to make sure that you win the series, and there is no problem because the upcoming series is more important, and you need to go in with one up, not confidence down. You cannot, and I think the next series is going to be much bigger than Ashes 2005. It has a huge potential to be. So I really like that decision. I don't think he should have risked it. Media has their own opinion. They have their own time to fill. But in my opinion, whatever he did was absolutely fine.
I don't know. For me, I think my decision, my opinion actually differs from yours, because I think being the number one test team in the world and playing a number 7 ranked side in the ICC Test Champion rankings, I think you have to show a little bit of ruthlessness. Do you think Australia in their prime wouldn't have done it?
I think Australia in their pomp would have done it, but wouldn't have done it because their batting lineup was star-studded. Our batting lineup was depleted. You cannot expect a team with no Sachin, no Sehwag, no Gambhir to go on and press for victory when they might as well have the 1-0 advantage. And don't forget, Fidel Edwards was bowling very well at that time, and they had taken 2 quick wickets just before.
Fair point, but I still believe they should have pressed for victory and brought home a 2-0 thing. Even if you go down fighting, that doesn't make a big difference. At least you show your character, right? At least you're not happy with the 1-0 lead and just go home with that victory. But in any case, that's for another time. You want to introduce our second point now?
Yes. Now we are talking about the biggest series in recent memory. Bigger than the Ashes, I would say. I think the last biggest comes to mind is the Ashes 2005, and that turned out to be a cracker of a series. This will be the 2000 test, the first test of the series at Lord's, between the masters of the game and the now masters of the game. I think it's just a fitting way to call the 2000 test. So it will be a great series to watch out for. Now we'll just preview some aspects of the series. First, let's talk about England. Your overall views on England?
I think any side which is at number 3 can definitely give their run for the money to India for the number 1 spot. It's England right now, because South Africa is there in between India and England. But if you see the balance between the batting and the bowling, South Africa has certain match winners in the bowling department, but they do lack a quality spinner still. And that is one department where England is sort of a complete package. They have a solid top order, they have a decent middle order, and they have a great bowling attack. They have pace bowlers, they have swing bowlers, they have spinner.
I would say they have the best bowling attack at least on English conditions, maybe in the world at every condition, because they have tall fast bowler, they have a genuine swing bowler, and they have number 1 spinner in the world right now. So that is a very potent combination.
Yeah, if you see the entire 11, considering that they go with a 3-1 pace bowling, spinner composition, and 7 batsmen, including wicketkeeper, they have a solid top order, starting off all the way at the beginning with Strauss and Cook. Cook has been in the form of his life of late, starting with the Ashes last year, and then he's continued piling on runs.
Just
test
stat
matches
for you
one day.
on Cook. He scored 766 tests. That's the highest test runs in Australia in the Ashes, and that's the highest for an Englishman touring. And he was the highest run scorer in the recent England versus Sri Lanka series. He scored 390 runs at the average of 97.5. That's Bradman-esque, wouldn't you say?
That's phenomenal. And obviously, if there was anything called a purple patch, this has to be it. And it remains to be seen if he can continue the same form against India or not. If he does, there are big problems for India ahead of them.
Yes. Your take on Strauss?
Strauss is absolutely, he's a great batsman, and it's only a matter of time before he bounces back. And if he does, it's going to be a big one.
Would he against India? I mean, personally, we have his Achilles heel in our team. I think Zaheer Khan,
left arm seamer, I know, but a quality batsman like that, it doesn't really take them a long time to adapt.
Sadly, he has been out to every left-handed bowler in every team he has played against except Mitchell Johnson. That's an interesting fact.
That is true, and the recently concluded three-day match between India and Somerset, if you followed, he scored a quick-fire 78 opening the innings, and that was facing Zaheer Khan. So, although we would argue that Zaheer needs to get used to the conditions before he actually gets going in his rhythm, but Strauss, I think, made a good point, a good case for himself, and that he's not letting his demons bite him.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely very good batsman, and I think in India's memories of the 2011 World Cup will always
absolutely single-handedly almost won them the game, and just a little short.
Yeah, another underrated batsman is Ian Bell.
I think he's been sort of an underachiever, and he's only got himself to blame for that because he came with a lot of promise. I haven't really followed him right since the beginning, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, he came in with a lot of promise, and he has failed to live up to that. That's up till now.
I think he's the best batsman right now.
That I don't know if I would put him as the best batsman. I would think, for me personally, Trott would be rated higher than Bell, just the way that he's been playing consistently off late. And again, Cook is right there too. But if you go back for an extended period, Trott has been really phenomenal.
Yeah, Trott definitely has been.
But one man that we forgot to talk about here is the person who refers to himself in third person, Kevin Peterson. Yeah. What is your take on him?
I think he showed some promise against the Sri Lanka series. I think he got a good 72 in the last match. But I would say that he is still lacking that Peterson-esque quality of just going and just blasting the opposition and just reducing them to tears. His knock in the Ashes, he scored 224, I think it was. That was still a sedate Peterson, but the 72 he scored, he looked like he's coming back. If he does come back, boy oh boy, India are in a huge pile of trouble.
Yep, absolutely. And so moving on in their order,
I would say the next and the most exciting batsman in their team is Eoin Morgan. I mean, he's definitely, whenever I see him bat, he reminds me of Gilchrist. I mean, he reminds me of the role Gilchrist played in Australia. You have the people who made runs, but you need quick runs to be made. He'll come and do a quick fire 50, 60. Very good player of spin bowling, high back lift, sort of like Brian Charles Lara. Your take?
I'm actually a fan of Eoin Morgan too. From having seen him, I'm actually really fond of him in T20.
Yeah.
But he has proved people wrong.
He has definitely
making sure that they don't slot him as a T20 specialist. He has performed in the longer version of the game, and that is really admirable.
I think one thing I really love about a batsman who can just come and on the second ball do actually a reverse sweep to a spinner. That is, I think, very admirable, and
pull it off. That's a more important.
And more than quite a few batsmen can. So good. I mean, I'm really impressed. Very strong batting lineup. I think Indian bowlers would have to work really, really hard and have to have tremendous luck with them.
Let's talk about the other side of the coin. their bowling attack. It's being hyped up as the battle of the best batting attack in world cricket versus the one of the best bowling attacks right now. What do you think about, say, Tremlett, Broad, Anderson, or if Bresnan comes in and Swan?
Okay, I really like Anderson, and I really like their other bowlers except Broad. They have sort of pigeonholed him for a role that he's not suited to. Anderson, I am pretty sure will deliver. Even we saw in Australia that even if there is sunshine, even if there are good batting conditions, he will still be able to swing the ball. Your take?
I think I quite agree with you on your take on Anderson, but for some reason, Anderson reminds me of Mitchell Johnson. He is in the sense that he is more of a confidence player. If you smack him around for a few overs, you'll get to see the other side of Anderson, which drooping shoulders, not looking really match fit, and
That's why I am really ruining the chance that Sehwag is not in the team. I mean, that is why Sehwag will make sure that the team goes off to a flyer and he ruins every bowler in the team. I think one bowler that I really missed out was Chris Tremlett. I've seen him bowl in the Ashes. I've seen him bowl against England versus Sri Lanka. He was just the I think more than Anderson, Tremlett would really tear Indian batting apart because he gets the bounce from a very fuller length, and really Indian batsmen traditionally and even now haven't liked it. Especially people like Yuvraj Singh, people like Raina, they would really struggle against him.
that's true. And actually, the series has been hyped up as a Chris Tremlett special because
Yes,
of his performance in the recently concluded series
yeah,
against Sri Lanka.
yeah.
And it depends. We have to wait and see how the Indian batsmen tackle him. But it'll surely be a good contest.
Yeah, I mean, Tremlett is definitely my pick of the English bowlers right now. Now, Swan, would he be affected? Would he not be affected?
I
Affected.
do not know actually. To be honest, Swan has been really good off late, but I feel that the Indians have a better batting attack to neutralize Swan.
I think Swan is very much effective in against teams which have a lot of left-handers, and India don't have a lot of left-handers, and I think that's why Gambhir has to watch out for him. But the rest of them, they can easily smother Swan, and they have the capability. And I think this is Swan's real test to prove himself that he can do well, even if it's at home against the best spin-playing team in the world right now. Your take, last thing, Broad and Bresnan. Which one would you put?
Bresnan has been impressive off late, and both of them are similar type of players, say bowlers who can bat a bit. But for some reason, I would tilt in favor of Broad just because of his batting experience at this level, and I think that could be really handy if, say, your number 7 batsman is pretty good and number 8 is someone who hasn't had any experience at Test level. Plus, compared to number 8 who's scored a 169 just recently in a Test match. So I think Broad is a better batsman, and that might tilt the vote in his favor.
In my opinion, I think definitely Bresnan. I think this is the place where we a bit differentiate. Bresnan because he's a better bowler. Broad has been toothless, and with the star-studded batting lineup you have, if you cannot make runs with the first 6, you will not make runs with the latter half. I think you need to make sure that your bowling attack, which should take 20 wickets. Remember, you cannot win a Test match without taking 20 wickets. Bresnan is actually a better choice. He bowled really well in Melbourne and Sydney in the Ashes. Hopefully, he does well against India.
So now let's talk about the Indian team.
I think the scene is set. 100th century, 2000 Test match. Lords is supposed to be his second home because he has his home just down the ground from Lords. So it's sort of like his home test. I think Sachin has written his script. And remember, Sachin has never scored a century at Lords yet. He has to get his name on the honours board. This is the best moment.
Definitely, if he scores, I think each and every Indian will go crazy on the 100th century. And I think not only Indians, but cricket lovers all over the world because he is a hero no matter where you go. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're Indian, if you're not. He is a cricket hero no matter you go.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, how does the lineup look to you without Virendra Sehwag? Because he is an important part of the opening partnership. Him and Gambhir, they are ideal foil to each other. And Sehwag's attacking instinct can neutralize any type of bowling.
Yeah,
Him not being there.
Yeah, he makes any attack seem toothless. I would pick. You see, again, Lords is that kind of a ground where if it is cloudy, it will do Lords. It can just change the whole game. And I think, I think, if it's cloudy, the whole Test match, Sehwag wouldn't have had enough effect on a Test. But if it is sunshine Sehwag, India would miss him because we would need somebody to score as fast as him and give our bowlers a lot of time to bowl. And I think Sehwag is perfect at that. That's where I think India will miss Sehwag.
I think off late, where Indian team has been going wrong is they've been scoring too slow. I mean, I understand it's Test cricket and it's supposed to be the technical game, but I think
if you can you should keep your run rate at 4 at least.
Absolutely, and if you can maintain a decent run rate, then your bowlers, as you said, get more time to bowl and dismiss the batsman, dismiss the opposition. So I think that is one very important thing that India probably needs to take into consideration.
Who should open? Gambhir obviously is one.
Gambhir is one, and I think partnering him would be Mukund from what it looks like, since he's the only other opener in the squad.
Your take on Gambhir?
Gambhir definitely. Coming back from an injury, I think he'd be raring to go and prove people wrong that he chose club over country in the IPL thing. So I definitely... Gambhir is I think his aggression is what I really admire. Because India doesn't necessarily put out players who are aggressive. His body language might not come across as being aggressive, but his batting style, you can see that he is aggressive. In the mindset that he doesn't believe in just staying there and letting the opposition get on top. If Sehwag is going great guns, you won't ever see Gambhir just occupying the crease. You'll see him taking the singles. You'll see him providing the excellent, the exact...
He definitely makes the scoreboard tick every time.
Absolutely. He provides the exact support that Sehwag needs.
Yeah.
And that is what's the best part about him. What is the point to see in the Test matches coming up is how he fares without Sehwag opening with him.
Swan, would he be a problem?
Gambhir is actually a very good player of spin.
He is, there's no doubt.
If he survives long enough to face Swan, I'd say it'd be a good battle, but I'd pick Gambhir.
You would pick Gambhir?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Swan, I think this would be the series where we would see the real test of Graham Swan. Dravid Lakshman, I think they will come through. They have been there, they have done that, and I think England would have some challenge, but they will come.
I think one of the most heartening results from the India-West Indies series was Dravid's form, and I'd actually called it before the Test match began that Dravid should come back to form in this series, and it happened. I'm really happy that it did because I think he's someone who hasn't got his due. He is a true great, but he's always lived in the shadow of Sachin Tendulkar. Although he doesn't mind it, but I still think he's one of the best Test match players India has ever produced, and probably at par with Sunil Gavaskar, and at times probably even better than Sachin Tendulkar. But he hasn't got his due, and I think for that very reason, I think Dravid should be one of the main performers in the upcoming series.
Lakshman?
He's in the form of his life. I think anyone at this point who can rival Cook as their purple patch, it's going to be Lakshman.
It's going to be Lakshman, yeah.
I was just reading some reading up on some numbers from him. In the last 4 years, he's been averaging close to 60, batting from number 5, number 6. Although obviously it helps that you might be not out for a few number of innings, but that does not take away the fact that he's played really important knocks when India needed it.
I think one comes to mind is, I think he played 2 in South Africa, 2 very good knocks, and one really comes to mind is India versus Australia at Mohali, back injured and cursing at Pragyan Ojha that he didn't run.
I had actually given up. I had not followed that match because I thought, India's going to lose, and I was just going to check the scores just to see how much India lost by, and I was surprised to see that India actually pulled it off thanks to this one man.
Yeah, he has truly been. I think second run of his career, and he's done really well.
If India needs a fighter, he is always there to stand up and be confident.
Yeah, it's good to see Australian tourists coming, and I think they will get another Lakshman dose.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Sachin Tendulkar. Do you see the 100th century coming at Lords or what?
See, I will pray it does, because I think Lords is one of the very few major grounds that he hasn't done well in, and Lords, as just being the home of cricket, definitely would be appreciative of it, and no better place. I think I would have chosen Lords over any Indian ground where Sachin completes his 100th ton.
Suresh Raina, Yuvraj Singh. Who do you think would be in the squad?
My personal pick is Raina.
I think definitely going on based on recent form, Raina would inch ahead of Yuvraj. And
I think he's the future. If you choose somebody as a captain of an ODI team, you're sending signals. You're sending that if you perform, we have faith in you. And I think same goes with Broad. Broad with England, he may get the selection because he's the T20 captain. He was just chosen the T20 captain. You don't just choose a captain and say, okay, you're out of the team. I think
certain countries do that, but let's not talk about that. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Raina should inch ahead of Yuvraj based on current form, and I think the way he showed his application in the West Indies when the team was down and he played a couple of good knocks, and he got, I think, out of the 3 Test series he got 3 or 4 50s, which was really good on the wicket where everyone was struggling. He actually came out and applied himself, stayed there, and I think he should be the one to go.
Raina spin or Yuvraj spin?
Now, KP or no KP?
With KP, it doesn't matter. I mean, somebody has to get
Somebody
KP
has
out.
to get him out. But I think Raina's part-time spin is... Well, he's got the golden arm in IPL for sure, and let's hope it
Even in
extends.
Test cricket.
Let's hope it extends to Test cricket as consistently as it happens in T20 cricket. But yes, we would miss a trick by not having Yuvraj in the team because he provides that variation, being a left-arm spinner. Because no one in the team can take up that responsibility if he's not there. But you have to make a choice. You can have only one of them, and if that's the case, I take Raina.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion also. Now, one person we haven't talked at all about who did really well, not in batting, now we'll move on to bowling, is Ishant Sharma. Your take on Ishant Sharma?
Really, really heartening to see him finally coming back to form after a really dry spell. I think the last time we saw him perform was the one and only time when he performed in Australia.
Yeah.
And after that, he's been living off of that spell to keep on doing. And I think that him coming back to form just before the England series could be the turning point for India. Because going into the match before the West Indies series, India was a one-man team as far as bowling was concerned, and it was only Zaheer Khan. With Ishant Sharma back into the attack and back in form, I think that makes it for a really interesting battle because Indian bowling attack needed a little bit of truth, and he's the one who can get. Zaheer, I would say, is more like Anderson. He relies more on swing and seam.
Zaheer will do well no matter. I mean, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
But Ishant Sharma is the one likely like-for-like substitution for Chris Tundle. And if Tundle can do well on those wickets, Ishant Sharma is our man to actually go and trouble England. And it'll be really great to see if he manages to do that.
I think there is no coincidence that Ishant Sharma is doing well because he is not playing one-day cricket. I think one-day cricket and T20 cricket really ruined him as a bowler because he lost his length. His length is basically a test match length. I think it's good that he only focuses on IPL as his limited overs, but he should focus on his test match, and I think he can be a really good test match bowler. One thing I really liked was that his actually wrist position had become really well, and he was really troubling the batsman. Now we talked a little bit about Zaheer. Your take on Zaheer?
Exceptional bowler. I think one of the most underrated part of the Indian team right now, because whenever someone talks about India, it's always the batting lineup that comes up first. It's always the Sachin Tendulkar, it's the Rahul Dravids and V.S. Lakshman if it's a test match, when it's Sehwag and Yuvraj Singh if it's a one-day. But one man who's always been there and performed and is really instrumental in getting India up there is Zaheer Khan. And I know a lot has been said and talked about him, of how he has managed to trouble a lot of great batsmen in
Graham
modern times,
Smith,
being one of them.
Matthew Hayden. Yeah.
So, but I think his consistency, he more than being an express bowler, he's now turned into a Glenn McGrath type of bowler, who can consistently bowl around that lagging line outside off stump and get the batsman to make the mistake. And I think that is something which India didn't really have. Like we had Srinath, I think one prime example that comes to mind. And I really enjoyed watching him bowl. And after him, I think it's Zahir Khan who's come close.
Jelly beans or no jelly beans?
I'd bring them on. Jelly beans for sure. We need Zahir to come back to form. Yeah, we need some aggression from him.
Yeah,
So,
Zahir really turned his form in that series. That was a series that really made him a great bowler. He was always a good bowler, but that was the series that made him reliably great bowler.
I think more than anyone else, we've talked about almost 8 players from the Indian team, but I think the most important man in the Indian team who has not been performing off late, and I really, really wish to see him take wickets and be a match winner for India, not a containing bowler, Harbhajan Singh.
Yes, I think the man has lost his dusra. I think that has been a real problem for him. His focus too much on sliders. His focus too much. He doesn't give the ball enough air. But I like the way he bowled in West Indies. He got some spin. He was flighting it a bit. But I don't know how well he will do against a better opposition. Your take on Harbhajan?
To be honest, yes, I kind of agree with you because he has lost his touch of late, and he's not the same bowler that we used to see before with the same amount of flight and turn that he used to get, plus the dusra that he had perfected in between, where he seems to have lost it now. And I think it's really important for him to get that back, get the ball to flight up a little more rather than keep bowling flat. That's again the T20 and one-day cricket influence on him, and that is one really important thing that he's missing. If he gets that back, he can definitely get more wickets because if he bowls against the wind, with the wind, he can get the drift. If he gets that turn going, that's the one thing that he needs to take wickets. And 400 wickets or no 400 wickets doesn't matter if you go down with a whimper. So if he does not come back and take back full of wickets, I think no one will remember him as a great bowler, even though if he's taken 400 wickets, doesn't matter.
Harbhajan the batsman, Harbhajan the bowler.
At the moment, Harbhajan the batsman.
Harbhajan the batsman.
Yes.
Praveen Kumar or Sreesanth?
Munaf Patel.
Munaf Patel?
Yes.
Wow. I like the looks of Praveen Kumar. And in England, where the ball is swinging, he's the only one who can challenge Anderson on the amount of swing that the attack will get. And he was good. He was very, very good.
He was definitely good. The English conditions are tailor-made for Praveen Kumar's type of bowling, that is getting swing. And I think even with the old ball, he can be really effective. Doesn't really have to be a new ball, as was the case back in West Indies. But I think if it's a toss-up between Munaf and Praveen, Munaf will get the go-ahead because of his consistency in the performance of late. Be it in India, be it in the West Indies, be it in South Africa, actually.
You're right on that, yeah.
So I would definitely see Munaf getting in ahead of Praveen Kumar.
But I think Munaf is an Indian ODI player. He's not really cemented his spot in the Test rankings. I think if I had to pick, I would keep Munaf for the ODIs because he's too valuable to India in the ODIs. He's a very good bowler, but I think Praveen Kumar would have to take the cake for the Test.
I think Praveen Kumar can be a little, I wouldn't say wayward, but his pace is easy to negotiate if he doesn't get the swing right.
But yet he's very effective. You're right. If he doesn't get the swing right, but I think once he gets his swing right, he's good. Very, very good. I really like the look.
I think we'll have to wait and watch what the Indian think tank decides.
Yeah. Mahendra Singh Dhoni or Andrew Strauss the better captain?
Dhoni
the better.
Dhoni.
I would also go for Dhoni the better captain. I think he's done enough to say that yes, this is my India and I'm going to lead it to huge successes.
Indian batting lineup or the English batting lineup?
You're tearing me apart here. I would have to go with the English batting lineup.
Current form, I would say the absence of Virender Sehwag does definitely tip the favour in
Yes.
for
I mean,
English.
it's going against my blood not to choose Sachin's batting lineup, but I think I would have to go English.
Yeah, to be honest, the current form and as I mentioned, the main factor being the absence of Virendra Sehwag, I think that is going to be a huge role to fill. Performance of whoever fills in that role is going to be the deciding factor, I think.
Indian bowling versus English batting and English batting versus Indian bowling.
I take Indian batting over English bowling, so
Okay.
I have faith in the Indian batsmen to counter the English bowling, and to choose between the English batting and Indian bowling. That's a tough one. That's really a tough one. But I'll have to go with the batting again, I would say.
The batting.
Yeah.
So yes,
it's going to be a batting heavy contest.
It's going to be bad. It also depends on the weather. I mean,
Yeah.
it really depends on the weather. I mean, you cannot understate that fact, especially in England, where the weather just decides everything.
All right, folks. Moving on to our next segment, which is the moment of the week. Last week we did Player of the Week, who was Mahendra Singh Dhoni. This week we have a moment from history for you guys, which is the final of the 2002 NatWest series between India and England that happened exactly 9 years ago to this week. It was 13th of July 2002 when the final took place. And that moment will be best remembered for Saurav Ganguly flinging his shirt and giving it to Andrew Flintoff, returning the favors to him. But I think that moment is best remembered as the rise of the new India, because this was a moment when you saw that India stopped relying on the Sachins and the Dravids and Ganguly's, actually, he was a prime performer in that match, and taking the responsibility on their own shoulders, and they won the match. It was Kaif and Yuvraj. And not to forget, Kaif was the captain of the under-19 team, which won the World Cup the year before, and Yuvraj was a part of that team. And for them to step up and join the national team and to perform such admirably was heartening to see for an Indian fan, at least, if not for anyone else.
I had closed off my television after Sachin got out. I think Ashley Giles bowled him.
That's right.
And I mean, I thought that okay, done and dusted. And it was, I think, 11 o'clock in India at night, and we heard firecrackers. It will always be remembered as the day that India said, Sachin is not needed for us to win. We will win without Sachin, and that was very important to an Indian fan, at least, because in the 90s, Sachin, if Sachin gets out, India gets out.
Get Sachin, get the game. That's
Yeah.
right. That's how it used to be in the 90s, and it was amazing to see two youngsters come out and perform. They, I think, had a good 120-run partnership between them to actually win us the game. And Kaif stayed there till the end. Yuvraj got out. Kaif stayed there till the end and made sure that India won it.
Yeah.
Which was amazing, because they didn't leave it for anyone else to do it.
And it was again India versus England. Hopefully we see some of that in this series. Before we conclude this podcast, it is only fitting, since I'm sitting here with Sarthak, to do some fantasy cricket. In this segment, we will pick two players from each team that we think will do well, and we're not allowed to pick the same player. Your two picks, Sarthak, from England.
I think from England, I'd have to put my money on Jonathan Trott and Anderson.
Okay. My two picks from England are Ian Bell and Tremlett.
Interesting choices. What about India? What's your pick?
Okay. Sachin and Ishant Sharma.
Safe picks, man. Come on, go for a little more exciting picks.
I think I've left the safer picks for you.
Perfect. Okay, for me, I'd say the most important would be my first pick, which is Gautam Gambhir. I think how he plays, how he negotiates the opening spells from the English bowlers, and if he exposes the Indian middle order too soon, or does he shield them for a longer period of time, will be really crucial. So I'd say Gambhir for me, and the other one being Zaheer Khan, for sure.
The series prediction?
I want to say 4-0, but to be realistic, I'll say 2-1 India.
2-1 India?
2-1 India.
I would go, if India comes out with a draw in the series, they would have done really well, especially with Sehwag not there in the first two matches. I would go either 2-1 England or 1-1 series draw.
I like your second call, 1-1, but let's hope it's 2-1 India.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So that brings us towards the end of our second episode of this podcast. It was great having you all, and hope all of you enjoyed listening to us. Please do not forget to leave your comments and feedback on the site as well as on our Facebook page. Do not forget to like us on the Facebook page. You can find us at the Cricket Hotspot. And I'll pass it on to Parth. He'll give you some more relevant information on how to get in touch with us.
Yes, I think we have certainly started a community amongst our listeners, so let's hope it continues to grow. Now, we recently started a YouTube channel. It's Cricket Hotspot. We have removed the so it's just the Cricket Hotspot. The website is thecrickethotspot.com, and we are now available on iTunes, so I think that's excellent for everybody who owns iPads, iPods, and iPhones. Last thing I would like to say, we would really appreciate some feedback from you. We have our email set up. It's questions@thecrickethotspot.com. Any questions, any comments, anything you want us to cover, definitely love anything from you guys, and we would obviously mention you guys in the podcast, so it's a good way to get your name also recognized. Let's hope that this series, the coming up series, is fought in the right spirit. No matter whoever wins it, there isn't much controversy, but if there isn't any controversy, we would be out of the job. But
good point.
But let's hope everything goes well, and it's a cracker of a series.
Same here, guys. Do not forget to leave your feedback on the Facebook page or on our website. And this is Sarthak signing off.
Yes,
hope to see you next week.
Yes, this is Parth, and we hope to see you.